To trumpet sound. Oh, may I then in him be found, just in his righteousness alone, flawless and before the throne. Christ alone,
Dear God, I thank you for bringing us all here together today. Thank you for all the opportunities that you've blessed us with. And just help us to focus on you tonight. Help Alan's words to not be his, but for them to be yours. And help us to praise you in everything that we do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Hey, I need you guys to do something for me before you go and sit back down. Yeah, let's give it up to the band. Give it up to the band. But what you don't know is this band has been spending weeks getting ready for this Sunday. All right, practicing songs they've never played before. Band, stay where you are. All right, they have worked tirelessly to get ready for Sunday. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to extend hands to them. All right, we want to lift them up to the Lord. We want to give them strength. All right, to persevere so that we can show God's love to everyone who's going to come on Sunday, all right? Hey, God, we just want to lift up these students. We want to lift up the adults. We want to lift up this band. God, as they just work to lead us, just help them to understand that what they're doing is not for themselves, it's not for fame, it's not for glory, but it is to bring you glory. It is to bring people to you. It is to bring your children to you so that they may feel your love, your grace, and your presence. So God, as they go into the rest of the week, just give them confidence, calm their nerves, help them to focus on you. In your name I pray. Amen. All right, have a seat for me. All right, so as you guys are sitting down, for those of you who are new, last week we started a brand new sermon series. All right, and this sermon series is called Faithfulness. And the whole idea, all right, is learning how to be faithful and obedient to God's law. All right, because that's what we're called to do. That's the whole point of youth ministry. It's the whole point of church is to train us on how to be obedient to God. But tonight I want to talk about the fulfillment of the law. If you remember last week, we talked about God's law. All right, I read the Ten Commandments, talked about how His laws are not these restrictive, suffocating rules that you have to follow, but that there are these boundaries, similar to the boundaries of a football field. All right, and in those boundaries, we're given the freedom to play the sport that we love, the freedom to live the life that we enjoy. Tonight, I'm going to read to you from the book of John, chapter 1, verses 1 through 18. Listen to what God has to say. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through Him all things were made. Without Him nothing was made that has been made. In Him was life, and that life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not understood it. There came a man who was sent from God. His name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all men might believe. He himself was not the light. The true light that gives light to every man was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet, to all who received him, the right to become children of God, children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision or a husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. John testifies concerning him. He cries out, saying, "This was he of whom I said, he who comes after me surpassed me, because he was before me." From the fullness of his grace we have all received one blessing after another. For the law was given through Moses. Listen to this. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, but God, the one and only, who was at the Father's side, has made him known. Will you pray with me? Father, as we come to you tonight in a time of worship and a time of discipleship, we ask that you just open up our hearts, open up our minds, so that we may hear you, may learn something new about you. And whatever it is that's hurting us, that's pulling us down, that's keeping us distracted from you, we ask that you just give us the strength to put it at the door and leave it at the door. Because right now, it's not about our drama. Right now, it's not about our outside life. Right now, it's about our life with you. God, take me away so it not be my message, but let it be your message. In your name I pray. Amen. So the Ten Commandments, well, really, all of God's law, all right, is the embodiment of Jesus. All right? Who Jesus is the law. Jesus is law. And you see, part of the biblical law is our worldly laws. And we're going to learn about this in 2 weeks. We're going to actually have a guest speaker come in. Some of you may know him. He is the criminal district attorney for Polk County, Lee Hahn. His kids have gone through this ministry. He's a member of this church. He's going to come in, and we're going to have this cool Q&A session with him in a couple of weeks. But you see, when we disobey God's law, whether it be his specific Ten Commandments or ours, the truth is we're not disobeying some law, but we're actually disobeying God himself. We're disobeying Jesus. And I said this last week, following God's law is difficult. Right? It's hard for me. I'm a theologian. I'm a seminary graduate. It's hard for me. It's hard for the adults. So that means it's going to be hard for you guys. But we get to see this awesome picture that John painted. We get to see in verse 17, for the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. That word grace is important. It's important for you to understand. You see, grace is the patience to keep helping someone who doesn't deserve it. That person is us. We don't deserve Christ's continual help, but yet, no matter what we do, no matter how we behave, he keeps helping us because he has grace for us. Now, that may seem a bit harsh, but here's what's really cool about Jesus. Jesus was once a teenager, all right? He understands where you're at. He gets that you are full of hormones right now. He gets that you're young and you're still growing. He understands when you enter into a new dating relationship, 3-4 months pass and you're falling madly in love. And in that moment, your hormones are taking over. You stop thinking about God and you commit a sin. You cross that line in your relationship. And yes, you are breaking God's law. You are not married. You have no authority to have sex with your partner, all right? You only have that authority once you get married. But Jesus isn't going to condemn you to hell because you make a mistake. He has grace. He understands that you're going to make a mistake, and it's okay. But here's the thing. That doesn't give us justification to keep on sinning. Even though he understands, even though he has grace, he still expects us to work towards complete faithfulness. He expects us that today we're going to work harder than we did yesterday, and that tomorrow we're going to work harder than we did today to become completely obedient and completely faithful to his law. Now, I need to forewarn you. I need to brace you for something that's about to happen. This next part's going to be very difficult for you to hear. All right? This is going to challenge all of you. Because I'm about to call you out. I'm about to call out your very belief system. The thing that makes you who you are, I'm about to call that out. So just get ready. Be prepared for this. You see, the truth is, your belief system, the things that you believe in or you think you believe in, they're not your own thoughts. They're not original thoughts. The truth is, you get your belief system from those who you admire. Whether it be your parents, whether it be your coaches, a teacher, a pastor like me, or maybe celebrities. But whatever it is, what you think you believe right now, that's not yours. It's someone else's. And what's weird is that God has kind of built us with this internal mechanism that we understand that. As teenagers, you understand that these really aren't my thoughts, but thoughts that someone else forced upon me. And because of this, you guys struggle with this internal conflict. And because of that internal conflict, you tend to break rules. And sometimes it's by accident, other times it's intentional. You actively choose to break rules just because you can. And you break these rules as a way to learn about yourself, to figure out what it is that you truly believe in, but also to figure out the way the world works. Why do we have these rules? In order to understand them, we must break them. But here's the truth, and this is what's going to hurt you the most. That idea that you have the authority, that you have the right to break the rules is wrong. You do not have the right to break the rules just because you can. And I'm about to demonstrate this. This is coming straight from Jesus. Jesus confronts this very thing because this idea is not new. Teenagers for generations have been doing this. Listen to what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 5, 17 through 20. Listen to what he says. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. I tell you the truth, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. This is important. Listen to this next part. Listen very closely. Anyone who breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. This is Jesus' words. But whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven. You see Jesus' words right there. He is telling you, you do not have the right to break rules. The only time you can truly break a rule is if you are better than me. And how many in this room can say you are better than me? How many in this room can say you are better than your coach or your teacher or your principal or the cops? None of you. This is Jesus' exact words. Jesus' teachings are counter to our very mentality. And you see, it's not just you, it's our culture. Our culture teaches you that you have the freedom to be who you want. Forget what other people think. You can do whatever you want, be whatever you want. But that's not gospel. That is not what Jesus teaches. You see, Jesus teaches that we are created to be obedient to rules, even those that we disagree with. If you look back at the Garden of Eden, that's what God's original plan was. We were supposed to walk with him daily and learn about these boundaries, learn about these rules, and live in harmony within them, not intentionally break them just because we think we can. And here's the greatest example of this, and I hear almost every single one of you guys doing this. Homework. I've heard almost every single one of you say, I'm not going to do my homework. I'm not going to do my homework because it doesn't apply to my future. I'm not going to use this when I grow up. I'm not going to do my homework because the teacher doesn't know what they're talking about. They're stupid. I'm not going to do my homework because it doesn't even get graded. I'm not going to do my homework because it's not even going to be on the test. I hear all of you say this. But even that trivial rule of doing your homework that's been assigned by your teacher, you are intentionally breaking it. You are choosing to disobey God himself. You are choosing to spit at the cross and say, Jesus, I don't care that you died for me. I don't care that you suffered, that I should be suffering. I'm going to do what I want because I don't care. This is the mentality that we have. This is what we're taught. But here's the truth. Here's the reality about doing homework. It's not about helping you to improve your grades. Because those who say that typically are struggling in the class that they're not doing the homework for because it's hard. And I get that, guys. I get that. I'm a dyslexic. All right? When I was in third grade, I couldn't even read or write. All right? So I get how difficult school can be. And I've been in college for 7 years. I have my bachelor's and my master's degree. Trust me, I know how difficult school can be. But what you learn when you actually do your homework isn't just how to actually do the homework for that class, but you're learning how to overcome difficulty. You're learning how to persevere when things get tough. Because trust me, things will get tough. College is tough. You think what you're doing is hard now? Trust me, it's not. Even those who are dual crediting right now to college, that's not real college. Trust me, when you go to real college, it's going to be hard. When you get into the workforce and you have to pay your bills and you're having to decide, am I going to buy the next iPhone or am I going to pay my electric bill? That's hard. But when you do this, when you do these small things as getting your homework done, overcoming that difficulty, you learn a valuable lesson how to overcome difficulty in your real life, in the life outside of these halls. I know I stepped on a lot of people's toes tonight. I know I called you out, but it's because Christ wants you to hear the truth. Christ wants you to leave that darkness, to leave that mentality so that you can walk with him in harmony. I'm going to end on this. Being obedient to God's law is learning how to trust what you don't understand. Because what you don't understand, it died on the cross for you. For you. He chose to leave paradise, perfection, so that you don't have to die. So that you may be co-heirs to his kingdom. Do you know what that means? That means when you go to heaven and you stand before God, Jesus is going to stand there next to you and he's going to say, this is my brother, this is my sister who was faithful. And God's going to give you a key and you become part owners of heaven. Forget this cell phone. Forget that Xbox. Hey, listen, Black Friday's coming up. Forget all that. Because heaven is far grander and far greater than everything you're going to get for Christmas this year. Everything you're going to get for Christmas for the rest of your life. And you're going to give that up. You're going to give up your inheritance to heaven for that. Because you choose to not be faithful to God, even in these simple things as doing your homework. Guys, I love you with all that I am. I know where I'm going. I want to be there with you. I want to stand there and watch as you enter into the kingdom and knowing that I get to spend eternity with you. But that can only happen when you start to trust him, when you start overcoming difficult things. All right? You can't do this on your own. You can't think that if you break rules that you're going to get away with it, that it's okay, because it's not okay. Jesus himself tells you certainly will not enter the kingdom of heaven. This is Jesus' words, guys. These are not mine. Take them seriously, because I want to spend eternity with you. I want to party forever with you. Will you pray with me? God, you spoke some serious truth tonight. You have really tested our patience. You've tested our resolve. You've really revealed a lot of cracks in who we are. But man, God, we are so grateful that no matter what we do, you are still faithful, that you continue to have grace. You continue to just do the hard thing. You overcome homework so that you can overcome life. You've given us that example. So God, I just lift up these students to you tonight. God, there is something in these students' lives that is difficult, that is hard, that is just keeping them from you. I ask that you give them the strength to overcome it, whether it be homework, whether it be a dating relationship, a friendship, whether it be at home, at work, on a team, whatever it is, God, I just ask that you give them strength. Give them strength to obey you, to be obedient to you. In your name I pray. Amen.